This recording contains a sensitive subject of abuse. Welcome, Jannette.
Hiya, Sophia.
Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I'm very interested in your journey. I know that you do performing arts, you do a whole range of things actually. But I wanted to talk today about your journey and about your trauma and surviving your trauma, getting through to the other end. So thank you for sharing that with me. So first of all, I would like you to say a little bit about yourself, and then we can move forward.
Okay, well, I go by 3 different names. The name that I'm born with, Jannette, and my married name Barrett, so it's Jannette Barrett. I also go by Jannette Machete on my Instagram. I go by Ms Lyricist B as well, which is my writing platform. So that's the name. But I'm a creative. I just put it like that because I've got many feathers to the bow and the creative things that I do, from writing poetry to singer-songwriter, script writer, multiple published author. I write music for other people, and I also do sewing, I do hair, I do lots of different creative things, and I paint a lot as well.
Wow. So I didn't know you did painting. So I've seen you perform. I've seen you do your music. I've seen you doing your artwork. And I know that you're very creative just generally. I know that your sister does hair, so I'm not surprised that you're doing the hair as well. But I didn't know you did that.
So, Sophia, I've never been to the hairdressers in my life.
Okay.
I don't like people playing with my hair. So the hair myself. Even when I got married, I done my hair myself.
Okay. Yes.
I made my own wedding dress. So
you made your own wedding dress.
With my person. Just
Yeah. That's very kind of old school nature way, which is actually very, very positive. I think having those way where we did each other's hair, didn't have to go to somebody else, where we made our own clothes, all those kind of things like that. Then it's tailored. That was a norm for people to do that. My mom was very creative. She made our clothes as well. I think that used to be a norm, something that we've kind of lost. So it's wonderful that you've kept that going, really. And I think we should, encourage that.
Yeah, I believe so too. Part of it was, growing up, part of it was no choice.
Okay.
The clothes, because I don't know whether you or yourself with your siblings or anything had hand-me-down clothes.
Oh, right.
So it's part of our era, isn't it? And I'm last out of 7 children.
Wow.
1 brother and 6 girls.
Okay, big family.
So by the time the clothes got to me, it weren't worth wearing. So Sophie, I used to even in school, I turned the skirts inside out because the material on the inside was better than the outside.
Okay.
Because it was frayed or bubbled up or so shiny from excess ironing.
I mean, the polyester shine, yeah.
So I unpick, turn everything inside out, and then redo.
Right.
And then the shirts, the collars, I turn the collars around and the cuffs around.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll take the cuff off, and because it was the elbow was all frayed.
Yes.
So I put the shirt further up and made the cuff up higher.
So you made 3/4 length.
Made 3/4 length, yeah.
Okay, so survival made you be creative in doing that. So it wasn't like you formally learned to sew. This was just you as a child adapting to the situation.
Watch and learn. I'm a great observer. Watch and learn, and always YouTubing all different kinds of courses. The City and Guilds on lots of plastering, bricklaying, painting, decorating, tiling.
Yeah.
I have as many things under my belt because, Sophie, I like spend money.
That's your motivation to save money.
I'm not lying. I like to, if I gotta try it 3 or 4 times first, if I know I'm very bad at it.
Yes.
I would gladly pay a good money for somebody to do something right for me. There's a difference. You know what I mean? I will pay for something to be done right. But I must try it myself first.
Yes, I think that's a good way of living, really, because I think we can become too dependent on other people
Yeah,
and lose skills. And I
yeah,
think that lots of skills can be transferable skills. So once you've learned one thing, if you've learned to adapt you doing your skirts and your shirts, well, now you've learned to adapt. You can put your hand on something else, or you can take an item apart, cut a pattern from the item, and resew it in a different color. So you learn, you can transfer those skills. But if you never learn them at all, do you know what I mean? It's a disabling aspect for yourself, really. Do you know what I mean? So I think people should try, and people should be multifaceted. They should be.
I don't think it came as a natural thing to me or something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a thirst to, yeah, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that.
Mm,
You use the word survival.
mm,
That has been the thread through my life.
yeah.
Because you're talking about my journey and my
Mm,
traumatic journey. So let's use those three words: my journey,
mm,
survival, and trauma. And
mm,
let's just tie all those things together.
mm,
So we're starting at the age of 2. So listeners, we're starting at the age of 2 years old.
mm,
I want you to imagine your 2-year-old grandchild or your 2-year-old child and imagine what they can do, what they
mm,
can really do for themselves.
mm,
Almost nothing.
mm. They're
Prop.
dependent.
No.
Mm,
So I now want you to imagine this 2-year-old looking after a sibling 11 months younger than them with autistic tendencies.
right.
Okay, so we've
Mm,
got a picture there.
mm,
That's me, the 2-year-old, looking after my sister with neurodiverse tendencies. Okay,
right.
which is
Mm,
proper terminology now. So this is where this independent survival streak stemmed from. My
mm,
sister, the next sister up from me, when she started school, and the rest of them, they're all in school, and I'm left inside the house with my sister.
mm,
My father at the time, because my father was born in 1909, he was semi-retired by then. He wasn't
okay.
really working. He was doing bits and bobs about the place,
Mm,
and things like that, more than anything else, and going out and helping in the community. He was very good at that. And my mother was at work. But my mother was poorly at that time too, which we didn't know about. So I'm left with my autistic sister who had tantrums. Terrible twos is bad enough as it is. So I'm trying to find my way, but
mm,
I've got the responsibility of my sibling. My other siblings are oblivious to this. They're in school enjoying them life.
mm,
And I've got all of those school hours. We all know how long they are. 9 till 3, 9 till
mm,
3:30. I've got
mm,
that with my sister. Anything that she does wrong, I get in trouble for. I get punished for at the
mm.
age of 2. I get punished for. So I'm responsible for her. So the survival kicks in that if she does something wrong, I've got to put it right. The survival to not be beaten is in my head. The trauma, the anxiety is
Mm.
in my head of doing that. And I don't even know who I am yet. I
It
don't even
sounds like you had to grow up really fast. You
yeah,
had to grow up really fast. And then you're dealing with adult issues,
yeah.
adult trauma, but without the knowledge base to kind of process that information. So all your processing is fear and anxiety.
Yeah. So that is where the observation of everything came in. That's where the
Mm,
observation was heightened. So I would
mm,
have my sisters put clothes on properly, and I would help my sister put the clothes on. I watched how they done hair. I'm still doing my own hair now.
mm.
Everything I needed to meticulously get it correct, because if
Yes,
I didn't do it right for my sister, I was in trouble. If I
right.
didn't do it right for me, I was in trouble. Oh,
Mm.
beg your
Oh,
pardon.
it's
So this
okay.
is where all of this observation comes in, an acute, meticulous form of observation, which gave me anxiety.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
Sounds like actually.
Okay. So, but we move on from there just a little bit, so about
Mm,
3.5. And I have an uncle living with me. And then I get abused by him.
okay.
See, I'm only 5'2" now.
Yeah.
So when I was that age, can you imagine the height of me?
Mm,
And my uncle at that time was about 6'5".
wow.
And all I can say is that his genitalia, let me put it nice and sweet. Okay, let's leave out the dirty language, because you can use your own imagination. His genitalia was the length of my 3.5-year-old arm. And I want you listeners, viewers, to put the rest into your own imagination, because I don't think it's necessary for me to be descriptive here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was all over me. There was one point, these things are written in my books, which I'll come to the end and tell you about that. But you can imagine that this genitalia was described as a snake. This is something that I can play with, because it's just a snake. It's only a snake, right? It's no harm. Play with it. It's okay. There's one point where sweets were lined up along it, and I had to grab the sweets, but not with my hands. Okay. Yeah. All right. So there's things like that. Those are all games. But because I had this acute observation already, and this sense of being responsible, and this sense of being in but out, there's one point where I realized that this wasn't correct.
Yeah.
Because when we were left in his charge, when the rest of the family was at school, my sister, my younger sister, she had an accident. And he was changing her. And it didn't look the same way as mother changed my sister, where she would use the flannel with the water and the soap and washed on and put on clean pants and stuff. This was all done with the bare hand. This washing was done with a bare hand.
Yeah.
And it was vigorously done. And I thought it didn't look right. And something inside me started to stir, and then I started to begin to think that something strange here. But obviously I'm a young child, I'm a toddler, so I don't know what this feeling of wrong is. So that's a part of the life, because I know I'm monitoring the time here. So I'm starting from 2 with the observation, the responsibility, going through the terrible 2s. I'm trying to come across that, being left in charge in the school hours. And then this abuse happens. But it started to happen to my sister. And then the same thought, I have to protect, otherwise I'll be in trouble. So what I did then is go in front of my sister, so I will get the extra abuse. So
you sacrificed yourself to save your sister.
Yes. So that came into form. So I'm going through that now. And my sisters come back and they're talking about school. They're happy. They got their little books and stuff, and they're covering it with wallpaper, and they're enjoying themselves. And I begin to despise them all.
Yeah.
Because they're older than me, and I'm left with this. Why is it me? Why is it me? And they're all big to me.
But you never spoke about it to them.
Those things, you didn't speak about things like that. Mother and father didn't speak to us about how to grow or anything. They just done the thing, and it was get from under my feet. We wasn't a family of even cuddling or saying endearing comments or anything like that. But I want you viewers and listeners to understand that my father was born in 1909. He has spent a lot of time in the American Naval Forces. So we're talking about the American kind of racism, not the English UK soft watered down racism. We're talking about the American racism. My father was born before the First World War, before the Titanic, uprising, all the Wall Street and everything in America in the 1930s when everything was burnt down. My dad witnessed a lot of things. He witnessed a lot of things in the war. So I can only assume, now this is not correct, I don't know because I was never told. I can only assume from history and things and books that his upbringing made him want to make us sturdy, make us resilient. And he fought because he must have got a lot of abuse and beatings and things like that, that if he made his daughters and his son strong enough to take it all, we can have that stiff upper lip, hold our pride. So that's the only assumption I can come to, and that's the one that I hold, because if I thought of it any other way, then hatred would have boiled me up. I probably would have killed myself a long time. You know, a lot of things to take in. So we're going through that traumatic experience of beatings at home, the discipline, etc. And then I get to go to school after, of course, going through this abuse and everything already. I get to go to school, and I'm thinking I'm going to get exactly what my sister, that joy coming back home, like my sisters had. Their faces. No. That wasn't to be for me. My sister is 11 months younger than me. She's August, I'm September. So what happens when I start school? She comes with me.
Okay.
We're in the same year. She has neurodiverse tendencies. We're talking about in the 60s. I still started school in the 60s. I'm in the 60s, you know, started school in the 60s. Okay. So we're using words like spastic and dunce and things like that is being used because my sister has got issues and easily seen. So what do I have to do now?
You're protecting her again.
Protective thing on again. The protective thing is at home. The protective thing is at school. Where else am I supposed to go? Where is my sanctuary? Where is my safe space? What's happening here? I've got nothing to share when I'm at home. So I start to pretend that I'm enjoying life. I start to make up different things. Yeah.
It's escapism in a sense, isn't it? You're creating a world that you could escape to because your world is traumatic.
Yeah. So there is nothing. I have got no comparison with my sisters per se. And I've got nothing that I can tangibly hold on to at school. Because even when I was learning in my lessons, the door was knocked that my sister was having a tantrum. I needed to go into the medical room and stay with her. There's no classroom assistants in those days.
Yeah.
It's just
still a lot
the
of pressure
teacher.
for a child that you have to calm another child down. Do you know what I mean? That's interfering with your learning. That's still reinforcing that it's your responsibility. Do you know what I mean? That's very unfair on you. And as you said, you've got no safe space. You've got no you time space. Do you know? No sacred space for you. At any moment, the door's going to be knocked. You're still always thinking, oh, is she okay? You know, that's still on your mind. That's hard.
It was. Anytime I started to enjoy myself, I started to say, feel something's going to come. Something's going to spoil it now. Or I used to rush everything.
Yes.
I just wanted to finish.
Just in case.
Exactly. And that's the right phrase, just in case. Everything was do it now, just in case.
Yeah.
So this heightened anxiety of I got to finish.
Yes.
In case. So that's all the way through school. But besides that, the protective thing is a lot of fighting. I would fight anybody in school, from the teacher down to anybody. Anybody. And the thing is, they didn't realize what kind of licks I could take. The beatings I could take. I'm getting beaten from the age of 2. So their little punches was like fallen leaves, dry fallen leaves. I never felt it before. But, okay, is that all you? I'm going to show you. Don't mess with me. I ain't got time because I need to do this now, just in case. So everything is like, okay, you're talking to my sister like that. That's the last time you're going to do that. Where the talking is coming from is the mouth. So I will go for the face. I would mash up your face.
So do you think
I will strangle you because I don't want you to hear the voice. Wow. I don't want to hear your voice. So I'm not looking at anything. I'm just looking to mash up the face and cut out the voice.
Yes.
That's all I went for.
Do you think that it was because you were unable to express your emotions at home, you always had to be the adult, had to be the parent, that when there came a situation where you could express in the moment it's anger, you let loose? Do you know what I mean? So it came like that exploding volcano. You've been holding it in all the time.
I really hurt a lot of people badly. That's because I would never hit my mother or father.
Yeah. So that transference.
I was taking that. So when they gave me something, and then of course there was the uncle situation ongoing. So I went to school, which was supposed to be my sanctuary. I didn't like the response, the way my sisters were with the click of them, and then it was just me and my sister on with this gap and two. And they had lots of nice things to talk about, and I would just make things up. This was nice for me at school today. I would make things up. So that's how I became a storyteller. Yeah. Without knowing, I become a storyteller, a drama queen, a diva. You know, imposter syndrome, all those kind of things I started to develop because I had to make a situation seem better. So I had commonplace in my own yard. Yes. So that I had an affiliation with my sisters. I could join in once in a while and tell a little story. What I wanted them to laugh. I wanted them to laugh with me, join in with me. I wanted something to give. So there was all that. So let's pass all of that now. Or let's pass all of school. So I've got this situation going on at home still with beatings and stuff. My uncle moves out. I get to age 14 and my father beats me for the last time. Okay. In my mind. Yeah. I can't take anymore. I'm going to kill you now, Daddy. Okay. You hit me one more time, I'm going to kill you because I know how to do it. Know how to do it. I know I can get you there, strangle you dead, and I will do it. And I want you to do it. The seed had grown, it popped now. Oh, yes. So I had to leave home. At 14? That was the safest thing to do, was to leave home at 14. At 14? Yeah. I had to leave home because I would kill him. And it was starting to get poorly. Mother was going through cancer at that time, and I couldn't bring nothing bad inside the house. Okay. That was another thing. But I was drawn with who's going to watch my sister properly now. Yes. That's thing is my blueprint, protecting my sister. I don't know, and there's no other comparison. That's my first experience, was that protective thing. Yes. So I've got that, and I'm torn. Kill the daddy, protect the sister. Yeah. I'm literally like this. I don't know. I'm going crazy. So I developed multiple personality disorder when I didn't know that there was such a thing. I started talking to myself, talking myself out of things, talking myself down. The angry person will come out, face me, literally, because I could see this other facing me, slapping me about the face and telling me all kind of stupidness, what to do and how to do it. Okay. So in order to control this person, I used to use hot candle wax and burn myself all over the place to stop this person coming out. So it's distraction. I know that some people might have a elastic and they pull it because that flick of pain can jaunt you back into normality. I wish it was that minor. So it was self-harm, really, but I didn't know it was self-harm. Yeah. But to me, it was me controlling this extra person that was trying to tell me to do all kind of thing that wasn't good. Yes. Good. So there was that. And then I had another harming one further back. Used to say to the middle one myself, don't listen. Everything's going to be all right. And all this lot. So I had this, you know, going. It's a war going on, fighting over, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. And you're in the middle. This other one always had the right words. And that in the end, I've named all of them. So there's me. There's Lyricist B, the one who always had the right words. And there's Jannette Machete. Okay. Okay. Right. So even today, I have to pull myself back sometimes. Because I've got a fierce protective personality. I will stand up for anybody. And that's why in my line of work, because I'm a retired psychiatric nurse, I do mental health in the community freelance. Go in the refugees, I go in the prison, I do those kind of things because I like to protect people. And whether it's because I like to, or whether it's just ingrained in me and I don't know any other way of being, I'm not sure to this day. I'm not sure because it's so ingrained of how to behave in any other way. What it also could be, and what you should consider, is because there wasn't anybody to protect you. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a big factor, that you want to make sure that you're able to protect other people because nobody protected you.
Yeah. It's the other way of saying when people say attack before being attacked.
Yeah.
You know, so I've got that very, very strong protective mechanism. And of course, my sister's still with us. I'm still doing that now. You know, she's 58. I'm still trying to, I'm still having to do that, you know, where she is in her place. I'm still getting the phones from MenCap and I'm having to deal with staff. I'm having to deal with different things. So that's ongoing. That will always be ongoing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're in school. We go through all of that. I leave home. And because I've got no comparison now of how a man's supposed to behave.
Yeah.
I love to
a bit abusive.
Yeah, that's right. I became a storyteller, a diva, theatrical and everything at school, doing all the plays and everything. And I learned how to dance very well. So I go to this place where everyone knew was going. And yet you needed to be 16 and over. I'm 40. I didn't care. I saw that energy and I meet this boy. And he's still, to this day now, he's still a boy. As far as I'm concerned, he's still a boy. Hasn't grown. Some people don't grow up, you know what I mean? They don't grow and take accountability of anything. A person that doesn't take accountability, to me, and they're an adult, they're still a child. If they don't take accountability, okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So this boy now, I meet this boy, and it's a very, 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 very abusive, traumatic, narcissistic, gaslighting, control type of relationship.
Yeah.
And I know that his upbringing was no better than mine. So after studying and going through everything, I realized that his mannerisms is because of what he saw, etc., etc. I have all of that, and I don't really know any different. So I'm kind of taking it until it came to the point that I'm pregnant. We have one child. My next pregnancy is twins, and he's still beating me, and I'm still fighting him. No, it wasn't one of these ones when I'm just taking licks, you know, because I can fight.
Fighting back, yeah.
Right, so
It's become your communication style between them.
We were spark plugs.
Yeah.
Right. Him thump me, I thump him twice back.
Wow.
Him break bottle over my head, I cut him with a knife.
All my life.
It wasn't just fist. It was serious. We could have killed each other.
That was very toxic.
Very toxic. This was toxic.
Yeah.
Doing this, but he's beating when I'm pregnant. He didn't. Not with the first one, but with the twins.
Yeah.
And I thought, flee, just like with Daddy. I'm going to do so. I'm going to kill you because there's something inside me. The protective thing. You know, trouble me, but don't trouble what I want to protect. I'll kill you. I had to flee in it. I had to go. Thank you, thumbs up. I had to go. Right. Otherwise, it's kill or be killed. And then the children involved. But I fled to London with just what was in my purse, £12.50 and half a packet of custard creams. I got on a coach. This is like 80s now. Like, you know. I go to London. I get on a coach. Didn't know nothing to do with London, but I'm bleeding, Sophia. I'm bleeding, and I sleep rough in Bishop's Park in Fulham because I didn't know where to go for days. And I go to the all the underground stations and stuff with the toilets and everything like this. Just buying a cup of tea each day and having one custard cream biscuit. That's it for the day. And make it look like, say, I'm all right, you know. But the cramp and something was just going on. And all of these paper towels and stuff so thin, and I'm wadding up and saying, no, this ain't right. This is. So I have to come out the park now. And I have to walk the street. I'm thinking, where am I going? Where am I going? And I'm just saying, God, please, take me somewhere. Take me somewhere. And I walk and walk. And, you know, I find the Salvation Army. And I go in there and I tell them my story. But I never tell them everything. Because... listeners, viewers, I left my daughter at school. I had to flee there and then, but she was at school. So the Salvation Army put me in an emergency refuge. And it's the first women's refuge that was in Chiswick. You can Google it. The first woman was in Chiswick. I was in that one. Okay, so I get there, tell my story, and it says, "You sure you've said everything?" He says, "We need to get you to the hospital. We need this, we need that." And when I tell them, say I got a daughter, oh God, I thought, okay, I'm going to lose it. They're going to tell me to go, etc., etc. Because I don't know nothing about no refuge. I don't understand anything. Take me straight back to the police station. The police gives me an escort to go back to Birmingham, go to the school and take my daughter out, because my partner at that time had a record as long as the M25.
Wow. Okay.
So I was hurt.
She was safe. They didn't think that she was safe under his charge.
Yeah. I wasn't a person to use my child like this. She never saw anything because I always cover things up.
Yeah.
I learned how to pretend, remember?
The survival technique.
I had an Oscar performance life.
Yeah.
Right? So I could pretend. But I couldn't pretend year after year after year. I lost one of the twins, by the way, in the end. One was born, but the other one died.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going on for years. And my daughters are saying, "When's daddy coming?" How can I tell her the truth? How can I destroy her relationship with her dad? That's not my place to do that. I know some women do, and I'm sorry, women, but you're wrong to do that. Between you and the man, not the child, okay? You're wrong. Let me tell you that you're wrong. Don't do it. It will come back and hurt you. So I listened to my child, and I come back to Birmingham. And when I come back to Birmingham, and I go to him hard, and he opens the door, and she runs into his arms. I lose her for 8 years. Everybody, I lose her for 8 years. She didn't want to be with me. She thought if she comes with me, she's not going to see her dad again. So that it wasn't that she didn't want it. She was scared that if she comes with me, even if it's just to the park or something like that, I'm going to go, and it's going to be years before she sees him again. So it's not going to happen. 8 years I fought to get her back, and she's 8 years old to 16. The most important years in a girl's life. Pre-teens, menstrual cycle, the growing, getting your first bra, all those proper mother and daughter things. I didn't see it because I took my daughter away and didn't explain anything. See what I'm saying, people? It's not a good cycle. Right, but I didn't do it on purpose. I did it to protect the child I was carrying and everything else. So there was a reason. It wasn't no malicious something, or I fall out of so you're not going to see a child. It wasn't none of that stupidness, people. It was real life situation.
Life and death situations,
Very
really,
much.
isn't it?
So it was that. So I come back. I'm going through that for 8 years. So I learned
everything. Had contact with her though. She's with dad, but you're still seeing her on a regular basis.
No.
Nothing.
No. Every time I went to visit and to bring her brother or anything like that, they said she wasn't in. She was here. She was there. Everywhere. You know what I had to do, people? I found out what school she was going to, and you know what I did? I became a mentor for the school, just so I could see my child.
Wow.
I had to be a mentor. I had to learn different things so I could get into the schools. I could see my child. That's what I did. My new husband, the husband that I still got now, 32 years, everybody with him. So I'm somebody that really goes the mile.
Yeah.
Right. My daughter missed our wedding. So she wasn't there for our wedding. She missed lots of different things for that. You know, she and him and I, stepfather and daughter like that. Me and my daughter, boom, we're rock now.
Okay.
You know, so there is joy. Yeah. But it's because you have to tell the truth. You have to explain things. No matter how young the child is or whatever, you have to learn the right words to use. Don't hold back of anything. And I know that from a 2-year-old child, that the communication and the reasons why, the what ifs and the maybes are very, very important. Any kind of explanation, but a communication thing needs to be done. at
Yeah.
all times through every phase of life.
Yeah.
Don't think
I
you're
totally
perfect.
believe that.
Yeah,
Communication is key, and people overlook it, and honest communication as well. I
that's
think a lot of trauma is secrets. And like you, I've come from the psychiatric nurse background and social work, mental health, and I believe that it's the secrets that causes a breakdown. Do you know what I mean? And you holding that in and not knowing how to express it, and what happens is that it internalizes on itself and it presents itself in life traumas.
well, I can break that down to something even more simple.
Mm,
We can take a no because we know where we stand. We can take
mm,
yes, we know where we stand. What we
mm,
can't take is a maybe.
yeah.
Maybe allows you to create various scenarios in your head of what that maybe could be.
Okay. Yes.
You overthink, you talk yourself out.
Mm,
You make a picture that becomes amplified the more and more you manifest on it.
mm, mm,
So if somebody's telling you and not being a hypocrite, me not like you, fair
yeah.
enough. Or I like you, fair enough. But
Mm,
I don't know what I don't know about you now. But
mm,
you want to know. You have a thirst and you want to know a yes or a no. You just want a clear cut answer.
mm,
And a child
mm,
needs a clear cut explanation of everything.
yeah.
And that's where I
Yeah.
started to paint and do lots of different things because it was easier for me to communicate
Express
with
yourself.
that,
Mm,
express myself. So yeah, any which way you can, but make the language legible to
mm,
whoever you're communicating with. Whether you
yeah.
have to use pictures, language, songs, anything, but make your message clear,
Mm,
right? So that there's no room to manifest a negative scenario. That
yeah.
is not nothing nowhere near your truth. And let
Mm,
that grow year after year after year
yeah.
until there's no way back of communicating at all because the wall is so high, the wall
Mm,
is so thick that not even jackhammer can
mm.
break it down.
So I suppose that's the importance as well as of that honest communication, isn't it? The strength of that, and creating a safe space for your children that they feel free to communicate things with you as
That's,
well, isn't it? You know, that's a big lesson there, that
it is.
you freely speak, but they feel free that they can speak to you. So we don't have these secrets, we don't have these hurts, unresolved hurts.
And that is what I call like bridging the generation gap because how I was brought up, there was no form of communication of anything. We weren't even told about menstrual cycle. It just
Mm,
happened. Well,
mm,
I was
mm,
in school, people, because my mother had a mastectomy and I saw her breast in a bowl in the bath. And you know, when my breasts them start to grow, I
mm,
bound them down because I thought they would fall off when I was running or doing PE
mm.
because I
Well,
see one in the bath.
mm,
That's how naive I was because I was not told what this
mm,
was and why.
mm, mm,
So, you know, children pick up on everything, right? And
mm,
whatever they sense, they will
mm,
create a picture in their mind.
yeah.
So you need to explain to them what this sense of feeling that they're having. Just explain,
Mm,
just talk it.
mm,
You know, so I'm going for all of that. All right, lose a child, or not come back to Birmingham, face the music, 8 years of this. And then I come to a climax
mm,
where I'm approaching my 50th. And I said to myself, these things are just going round in circles in my head. I'm living a life and people think, yeah, my life, oh, Jan look good, Jan this, Jan nothing. Jan wasn't enjoying. Jan had a lovely, fantastic marriage, a new child and everything glossy and glory. But I had repetitive PTSD, nightmares, traumas going on. And I
yeah.
still had these voices going on. What was I to do? How do I make these things? How do I turn the trauma into a triumph, perhaps? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, okay, I'll write it down. I'm going to do this. I speak to my siblings, and I find out that no, I'll leave that because yeah, I'll just leave that bit just in case. Right, that's not my case. But anyway, right, I speak to my siblings, and I get the blessing from my siblings that I'm going to do my book.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this is going to be one book, you know, when I start to write. It's ended up being three. So I've ended up writing an autobiographical trilogy. And
Mm,
in fact, in anthologies as well, where I've got chapters in numerous 9 or 11 anthologies now. I've got chapters in, and they're all other things additional that's gone through my life, because I just couldn't fill these books.
Yeah.
It was just too much. So I've decided to write out my journey. But I also decided to think that I've learned from my psychiatric training and nursing and doing my mental health in the community that you can't just write a book that's as raw as that, because you need an antidote. Because I thought if somebody's reading, I could trigger them to kill themselves.
Wow. Yeah.
You have to be, listen, people, I believe in speaking my journey, but I also believe that I have to be mindful that if I trigger somebody and I ain't there to hold their hands afterwards, and I put something in their mind so acute and there's nobody around, what am I doing to that person if I can't support them?
You could be opening that kind of worms, and then what?
You don't hear me doing these things or posting everything up or doing anything like that. I'm mindful.
Yes.
Of what happen. So I write my book in a way that I put poetry in it, but the poetry is still my words of the story. But I put things in there and a bit of humor in there, and some of the things in my life just to quench somebody, just to draw somebody back from what might be happening.
We want to take a quick break to say, if you have been affected by the issues discussed today, please do not suffer alone. Call Refuge for help, advice and support on 0808 2000 247. Let's return back to Jannette.
So you're saying your sisters said it was okay to go ahead?
Yeah. So I got their blessing, but I wanted to make sure that I wrote in a way that didn't trigger people too much.
Yes.
Because it's a real deep story. So all of the things that I was fighting against and acting, it came in handy. So this is the beginning now of me turning all of those negative things into something positive. It helped me write the way I needed to write.
Yes.
And the title of the books, the first book is called They Never Saw Me. For obvious reason. They never saw who I was or anything. The second book is called I Don't Know Who I Am. And the third book is called Cries from Their Cells When Walking on Forgiveness Road.
Okay.
And all of the titles speak about what part of the life I was in. The first part is like between the age of 2 and 12. They never saw me. They didn't understand me. Didn't know what I was going through. The teenage years up to about 25 or whatever is I don't know who I am, because then the multiple personality disorders, trying to find who I am, my purpose in life, etc., the domestic violence, etc., all of that. And then Cries from Their Cells. This is when I started to explore my own forgiveness road, going into the prison and facing my perpetrator who was inside at that time, and other people, talking to different people to realize why things like that happen, and to learn how to forgive myself first, my perpetrators, and then anybody else that may come in life. I had to teach myself some way of saying, if I've got a background and I was in such a way that I could have killed, what gives me the right to judge them when I don't know their full story? So that opened the brave way for me to understand somebody that would beat somebody, understand somebody that would kill somebody, because there's always a reason. And and a lot of the times things stem back to childhood, when things haven't been explained. So childhood traumas can make an adult a very dangerous person to be around, dangerous to themselves, dangerous to society, if things aren't explained. Like I said before, there's nothing worse than having a maybe in your head and creating scenarios that are out of proportion, uncontrollable, where the PTSDs take over your life, when you actually think that what you're seeing is real life. Because when you go through that thing, people, if you do not understand what this is, It's not a dream. It's not like a dream. It's like the thing is actually in front of you. You can physically feel it, smell it, taste it, hear it, everything. It's like it's there, like somebody. It's like a solid thing, a solid form, a proper voice. It's not something that goes away when you wake up. You're living in it. You can see somebody going through something like that when they're literally talking to somebody or fighting something. And if that is happening and you're actually in that picture and you become part of it, you're being attacked too. They come out of it. And how bad can somebody feel afterwards when they realize? But of course, there are perpetrators out there that are just doing it because they like to gaslight, they like to have that power. There are people that control, you know, so you have to learn the difference between what and what, you know, so don't judge too quickly.
So were you writing this book for you to ventilate that this, to kind of like express it, get it all out, or was it in a way to help other people that are on that journey, to say that they're not alone and you can get through the other side?
Yeah, well, remember,
a combination of the two.
That blueprint of that protective nature. So I always thought that if anybody's going through anything like that with me, and that's why I sought my sister's blessing first as well, that if I could do something, write mine out. But the way I wrote it as well, to bring in a little bit of poetry, a little bit of humor, I was always still thinking, I'm writing this, but I might hurt somebody when I'm doing it. So I had a protective nature. So it wasn't just for myself, although I needed it. Also, I would try to do something that would help other people as well if they had anything close to mine. So it wasn't a selfish right, it was a necessary right, and it was also to share. And that's why I've turned a lot of my parts of my books into plays now, and that the plays that I do are always truth-based.
So what did you do? Because forgiveness is something, sounds very easy, simple word, just forgive, but can be a challenge in itself. Do you know what I mean? So what advice could you give to other people that are needing to forgive themselves and to forgive their perpetrators? And as you said, there's lots of people in that circle who you think should have protected you, like your parents, your elder siblings, and they weren't there to be that protection. How do you forgive on those levels as well? Where did it start for you?
Well, I don't think I find it as hard as some other people, because of having that protective nature in the first place. My sister done a lot of things to me, hitting me over the head, sticking me with a fork, you know, lots of different things that was horrible, you know, but I knew it wasn't her fault. So to me, I was sort of a reason behind it. I thought of myself, the kind of things that I did, beating my fellow pupils at school, and how bad I felt afterwards, you know, when I vented things out. So I was thinking to myself, somebody could do this, but are they doing it for this reason, or how do they feel afterwards? So it helped me.
You kind of put yourself in that person's position.
Yeah. If I was able to forgive or make excuses for myself, why shouldn't I make excuses or forgive other people? Because, you know, when we make a mistake, people, we said, oh, it was because I'm tired, or it's because of this, but if somebody tell you off or upset your spirit, why are you so quick to, you know, I talk to them again? Why are you so quick to do that? Could they be tired? Could they be hungry? Could something have happened to them? Why they snapped at you and never really mean it? Why you have to just, we have to be so hard? You know, life is short. You don't have to just judge like that. There's always a reason behind things. You can forgive. You know, things is hard. Some people find it very difficult to communicate and speak. Some people find it hard to admit something. It doesn't mean to say they're not feeling bad. They just don't know how to communicate it sometimes. So, you know, and if you hold on to things and don't forgive, all you're doing is mashing up yourself.
That's very, very true.
You're holding on to a virus. You're holding on to gangrene. And when it starts to ride all through you, and that cortisol hormone builds up in you, that negative, horrible cortisol.
That's where illness will live there.
It will. There's something can kill you.
Yeah, that's very true. But I suppose it feels like you're still having that adult head that you have to have that too. Do you know what I mean? To have that maturity to because that is a very mature thought, to turn around and say, well, I'm going to empathize and try and understand and unpick what's going on for that person. Whereas probably the easiest thing it is to just say, you know, I hate that person. I'm really angry. You should have done A, B, and C, and
Right.
hold them to that pain. Do you know what I
And
mean? It's very, still a very mature attitude.
that's right. And like I said to you earlier, that before we went on air, I said accountability. If you are not an adult until you learn to be accountable for all of your actions,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, so people, you need to grow up. If you can't, right, stop calling yourself man, or stop calling yourself woman, or I identify as, yeah, right. If you can't hold yourself accountable for your wrongs, don't judge people. Okay, it's not your place. Right, this is Jannette Machete talking now. Now I'll coach you to the truths, right, to tell you the truth. Yeah, be accountable for everything that you do.
Yeah.
Right, don't
Yeah.
expect people to be accountable and start judging them if you're not accountable for yourself.
Yeah.
Grow
That's
up,
very
don't be short, right? Be responsible.
Be honest with
And look,
yourself.
yeah, and look at the bigger picture, because
Definitely.
at the end of the day, we all make mistake.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. We all make mistake. Yeah, and why should you make excuses for your mistake and you don't want to make excuses for others? And don't forget, the only way to charge yourself is to have the negative and the positive together, because that's what a battery is all about.
Yeah.
There's no
Yes.
battery here that's just all positive, and there's no battery that's all negative. So all of you people that going around, me not talking, no negative people in my life, me not do this, me not do that, stay there, because you're the negative one. Negative and positive is a balance. We need equilibrium in life. We need the two things to charge. A negative would teach you how to be positive,
Yes.
and a positive would help you watch out for negative. But the two have to go together
Yes.
for you to have
And
a full understanding.
definitely. And I think that, you know, there's lots of opportunities where you've had a bad experience. I mean, you can't control events. Some events happen and you can't control it. But what you do have control over is your reaction to those events. And depending on how you react, determines the outcome. So, you know, it's like if you take on that mature, you know, trying to understand, have that empathy, explore learning curves, how can you protect others, how can you prevent it from happening again, then it can actually be a learning curve and a positive learning curve out of that negativity. Do you know what I mean? And even in your point, you got to the point where you've been able to share that information, share those experiences, and maybe could help somebody go through it, you know,
Yeah.
or help somebody see where the red flags are to see, to protect somebody else, because thinking that, oh, I know a child that's behaved this way, I know a child that's behaved that way, let me investigate. Do you know what I mean? So you to kind of taking that negative event and you've turned it into something positive, something that you've learned from, grown from, and you can help other people. So you can see the outcome is totally different, where really, you know, based on your story, it could have gone a totally different way.
It could. And at the end of the day, people, to wrap this up, life without purpose is no life.
Yeah.
Right? And the best purpose in life that you can have is sharing the skills that you've got.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Because that is where you get the most gratification, where you share skills and you have that purpose, and it's something to get up for, something to live for. But when you're going around with all your positive thing all the time, it's lovely, but it would burn you out when you don't face your negatives.
Yes.
It will burn you out. Nobody can eat that much sugar. Can't.
I hear that. That's a good analogy. That's good. And I suppose it's, you know, you always go back to the core, know thyself. Do you know what I mean? And you said, we are complete, the yin and the yang, we are complete. And it's about learning and understanding yourself. And if you can understand yourself, then you understand the wider community. It grows from there, but it starts from within. So,
Absolutely, 100%. Nice
yeah.
stuff, yeah. Great
Oh,
talk to you.
it's been absolutely amazing. And thank you for sharing, because it's you know, it's a traumatic, emotional thing that you've got, you know, you've gone through, and the fact that you've taken that and been able to share and been able to enlighten other people is a very powerful thing. And you know, I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
But thank you. And Waterstones and Amazon as well, or is it just
I'm
Waterstones?
taking it off Amazon because Amazon got such a collective of things. So if I just deal with just Waterstone,
Waterstones,
it's books, and I'm selling books. You know,
books. Excellent.
I'm not
Excellent.
selling books with the cabinets. You know,
I hear you, keeping it pure. So
yeah.
wonderful. So thank you so much. And I hope you're all successful with your books. And I know that you do plays and you go into prisons, you do other things. So we'll always keep an eye on you. I know on Facebook as well, so we can keep an eye and see what's going on in your next play. Have you got another play coming up? Have you got anything coming up?
I've got the Melina Pearl the musical. It's
Okay.
already booked, and that will be at the MAC, the Midlands Arts Centre, Cannon Hill, on the 21st of June next year, 7 o'clock.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we'll look out for that. And
it's a Windrush. People. It's a trip. People. I nursed this woman. She was on the Windrush ship. It's a true life thing.
Okay.
And, a daughter and granddaughter gave me the blessing to do the play. It's her legacy, and it's already been performed in small snippets 4 times already. So now we're bringing the full production with the musical.
Okay, so we can tap into the MAC to get more information, or Eventbrite.
It wouldn't be on the MAC something, because they charge you all different additions. I'm sorry, MAC, but you do.
Okay.
Right? And I'm self-funded. I don't get this. This is just a profit share with my cast and everything. What we get, bums on seats.
Yeah.
You know? So the tickets will be done through PayPal, myself or Speedo, and that flyer is already up. And various flyers will come up with small little explanations and pictures of how the musical will go to keep your interest. But I don't do made up things. I don't do. People can carry on and do their made up thing. I don't do made up things. I do true life plays. Okay.
And there's a lot of information there to keep that realness and authentic stories. There's authentic stories, so you like to share authentic stories, and powerful, more powerful with real people involved. Yeah. So we'll keep out for that. We'll keep looking out for that. So thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. And hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, definitely. You have a good weekend, yeah?
You too. Take care.
Everybody, take care. Stay blessed. All right. And remember, a yes or a no. Don't make the scenario out of your maybes.
Very true. Thank you. Bye.